Welcome back, everybody. Tanner, just how popular were you back in high school?
I don't think I have an accurate grasp of that.
Nico,
so there were, like...
You were there, weren't you, Nico?
I was there.
How popular do you think I was? I feel like I can't get an accurate grasp of that.
I'd say that you were a decently well-known individual.
Yeah.
I definitely knew people who were like, oh yeah, Tanner's a funny guy, and people who were like, that fucking guy, he never shuts up and just like laughs to himself in
Big
class.
man bald.
He makes so many
so
dumb
bald
jokes.
for hair. Dumb bald.
Yeah, I've gotten that sense too that there are people that I guess I have a very love it or hate it personality.
I don't think she'd like any of these conversation topics.
Gardening mishaps.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, she didn't like that.
Rip. I wouldn't have gone with that one, but yeah.
Go on, Tanner.
Yeah, like, I pretty much agree with that assessment. I feel like I was generally well known. Like, people had heard of me at least.
Yeah, they heard of the fables of Tanner.
I'm just gonna throw out, probably anyone who didn't like me is probably just kind of an asshole.
Why is that, Tanner?
No, I just mean like they're like a not very fun person.
Oh, gotcha.
You know?
Okay.
Like they don't have much enjoyment in their life, and so they see me enjoying mine, and they get mad about it.
They're upset by what they do not have.
Is that why I'm mad all the time?
Yeah. That's why it's mostly women that don't like me. They're perpetually unhappy with their gender.
Oh, Tanner. I'm sure there are plenty of men who don't like you.
Yeah.
I feel like the odds of a guy not liking me are far lessened than the odds of a woman not liking me.
Yeah.
Anyway, Nico, I don't know. I wouldn't characterize you as popular. There were circles within which you were popular.
So many circles. Far too many.
I know, like, the drama kids and the music kids and the cross-country kids knew you.
Yes.
Don't crush a soul like that, Tanner.
I think the cross-country kids, like, you were there, you know? You were present.
Right.
I don't know how much of a participatory factor you were, much like myself. I feel like we both kind of just existed in that space with, like, the couple of friends we both had there, like Jackson.
Dude. Yeah, exactly. Jackson was the cream of the crop back in the day, my boy.
I love cream.
Such a wonderful man.
Yeah, Jackson's a fun guy. Like, I tell me, would you think it's accurate for me to venture to say probably more people knew me, but
hated you?
Than you. More people knew me than you, but the people who knew you liked you more than the people who knew me liked me.
Yeah, it's probably an accurate.
My bar of the number of people who knows me is better, but my marker of whether it's like or dislike is closer to dislike than you.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You know, that just means I'm fit to be a politician, you know, because I'm a naturally polarizing figure who can really get his name out there.
You know what they say, you gotta have that big old tent to catch all the Republicans. Yeah, catch them so we can get the popularity.
That's right, you gotta catch a tent if you want to get
Tanner, if it wasn't for popularity rule, we would have had a better system. Majority vote, that's what I want.
Why is everyone
who is this an impersonation of?
Bench.
That's not what he sounds like.
I honestly don't know.
He's got a little goblin voice. He's like, "Hey, my name's Ben Shapiro." Now let's say
hypothetically.
That is what he sounds like.
Let's say hypothetically, you're my girl. Spanking.
Oh. I'm uncomfortable.
There's one that's...
I'm gonna look up goblin people and see if we can find more.
Are you guys not gonna ask me about how cool I am at
Tyler, just how cool
I know.
Dude, I'm so cool.
You're so cool. This isn't what I'm looking for. Do goblins eat humans?
Do they?
See, they're covering it up. People, what the... Oh no.
What?
People become goblins.
People have become goblins. Is it about the Goblin Slayer?
Okay, let's see what this is. Do you ever just want to go feral and scream into the woods? Let us introduce you to Goblin Core. Let's see what this article is.
Okay.
Are you tired of being a cog in the capitalist machine and being ashamed of your deepest and darkest desires?
Of course.
Do you want to give it all up and become a bog witch? Well, my friends, perhaps you should consider Goblin Core.
Quick question. What is a bod witch?
A bog witch? It's a witch who lives in a bog.
Oh, I thought you said bod witch.
No.
Okay.
Wait, what is Goblin Core? If we're speaking about traditional folktale style goblins, we'd be talking about green-skinned rejects in ragtags of society, often seen wearing ragged clothes, working in mines, murmuring and mumbling in shrill voices, and hoarding shiny objects. As various literary criticism of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter books surmises, these lovable, nasty little critters are often used as anti-Semitic material, associating Jewish people as dirty, greedy gremlins. Yikes. Fun fact, it's the same reason why old-school Halloweeny witches have big, hooked noses and moles.
Oh, is it?
That's not true, though.
I thought it's because they ate children and they need to be able to sniff them out better.
Yeah. That's exactly what.
That's not the origin of that.
How do you know, Tanner? Did you write an article for that?
But a new internet community of people who want to live like goblins is trying to change that depiction and, in turn, the goblin discourse. And then, no joke, it says, in parentheses, y'all ready for this? Goblin Core was one of a number of new trends that emerged on Tumblr around 2018.
Of course it's from Tumblr.
It took lifestyles and aesthetics that were completely divorced from our everyday modern big cities' lives and idealized them in a means of escapism. I'm just going to throw out, capitalism's not stopping you from going out and screaming in the woods.
Yes, it is, Tanner.
You can still do that.
Tanner.
Like,
what do you know, Tanner?
Like that's a choice you have to do. Hell, you can even do it in your free time if you still want to make money, you know? Whatever. Well, what else we got here? People thought, to be a grandma knitting a nice woolen coat for my tea set and my sweet antique home, which created Grandma Core. Or to live in a tiny cottage in the woods, alone with nothing but Mother Nature and my thoughts, Cottage Core.
I think I've heard of that one.
Or, to be a goblin in a bog, hoarding shinies and projecting my most feral desires onto the universe and not being judged for it, Goblin Core. Goblins are judged, though.
Clearly they're judged. They talked about how they hate
they're
them.
Jews.
They're disgusting.
Being a goblin is a little different for everyone. Reddit user Buzzafazakalazaz told Syrup, but it stems from a deeply rooted hate for capitalism and a lot of aspects of today's world. How can you describe them as like being shiny object hoarders and being alliterations to Jews, but they're now anti-capitalist? Goblins just want to be free of this system and its ideals and requirements. We do call ourselves goblins, gobs, and gobos, admits Reddit user Space.
Gobbo really sounds like a slur.
Yeah, but not in the same way that I've seen from other communities that identify as something like puppy boys or puppy girls in the BDSM scene. It's more of identifying with a culture than identify with being the thing. I personally don't think I am or was meant to be a little green creature. I just like shiny things and other gob stuff. Gob stuff?
See, this is why we should build a wall around every single human until they suffocate and die.
We want to live in the forest in harmony with nature and just appreciate the little things. Goblins are like destructive for nature. That's their deal. They're like naturally evil. We also don't want to succumb to the ideal way of being and acting. We want to be feral and wild and be ourselves. That's mostly it. See, what's weird about that to me is that they're admitting that there is an ideal way of being and acting, and they're just willfully defiant of it, which is just illogical. What kind of person wants to become a goblin?
What kind of person does?
Yeah, as how far someone is willing to take their duties as a goblin, and what led them down this earthy little green path differs from person to person, or rather, goblin to goblin. It says that.
Gob.
Many in the Goblin Core Reddit community admit that they came across goblinism from a dissatisfaction with the way our society is run. Capitalist desires and responsibilities like a 9-to-5 job, buying generic things you can find in shops, and not having the time to take a moment to feel the dirt and worms in between your toes and be one with Mother Nature. You don't have to have a 9-to-5 job. You can do other time frames. But also, like, there's lots of opportunity to do whatever kind of job you want. Friggin', what other systems don't involve 9-to-5 jobs? Under socialism and communism, everyone has to work all the time just to support everyone.
Yeah, but Tanner, have you really considered Maoism though? Like just for a second,
it's the same thing. But whatever.
See,
whatever.
This is why my favorite candy is
also buying generic things you can find in shops. That's your choice to do that. You don't have to. Oh my god.
You can't do that.
Alright, next paragraph. Does anyone else get sad because your circumstances make it impossible to live the life you want to? Ask self-described sad goblin and Reddit user BaileyBean3, reminiscing the times they spent being in nature and walking through my creek back home barefoot and seeing my mom's chickens and my dad's bees and our dog and picking black raspberries in the hedgerow, pretending I'm a wood nymph sustained by the juices that stain my lips red. Again, nothing.
So what's stopping her from?
Nothing is stopping you from doing any of this.
Except
There's no
for
the man
capitalism.
is keeping him down, Tanner.
I see all the posts on here and on Tumblr, and I swear I tear up because I feel like there's a part of me that's missing, and an innocence that I'll never get back because I'm supposed to head into a much too serious part of my life where all that matters is money and I can't stand it. As they see it, being a goblin is a means of rebelling against your adult responsibilities and expectations put on you, giving it, and the various cogs in the capitalist machine, your tiny middle green finger. To put simply, as Reddit user Girl Can Game told Syrup, it's all about F capitalism and collect shiny rocks, man. Collecting shiny rocks is capitalism. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
No, if you don't trade them.
It's just like a primordial version of capitalism.
But you're choosing not to trade them, though, which is still... It's like when people say, we're not going to be capitalist by giving away this thing we made for free. It's called a free market because
things can be free.
Well, because you get to, like, buyers choose the prices they buy at and sellers choose the prices they sell at. Free is still a price. Whatever.
It's an excellent price to pay, Tanner.
Oh no. Harper is a 16-year-old baby goblin, and the user behind the Goblin Core
what do they mean by
account.
use?
One of thousands of blogs sharing text posts and memes about goblin living. For them, they fell into goblin culture from a desire to find their identity and a place to belong. How long is this article? Before Goblin, I was mostly flopping around with aesthetics, they told Syrup via private message on Tumblr. I didn't know if I wanted to be decora, punk, romantic goth. I just didn't know what I wanted to look like. I suppose I dress like a goblin. I wear a lot of baggy clothes and a lot of overalls. I wear some jewelry that I find laying around my room or my house, like some rings I find or a necklace I find hanging out in my closet.
Not my dead cat teeth. I've gotta wear those.
I guess this person just has jewelry appearing in their house.
Yeah.
When I first came across Goblin Core, I was pretty much instantly in love with it. I always had a strong liking to the woods or marshes, and the idea of collecting anything that pleased the eye was super fun and really home for me. It was a very comfortable feeling.
This is what happens when men can't fish.
And with that, we'll be continuing this little excursion in the next episode.
Yeah, okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.